chicos. This is my video update. Thanks, guys, for some of you who've actually started your work. I can check your student progress right here. And it looks like a lot of you have gotten started, some a little bit further ahead than others. Just remember, guys, with this first lesson bit on the present subjunctive, you do not need to rush. I'm really don't want you to be, really ready to move on until next Wednesday on the present subjunctive. So again, if you feel like when you get to the quiz and you're not getting it, go back to the lessons, do some more practice on conjuguemos and Quizlet before you do the quiz, because I'm really not expecting you to master this in 2 days. So in the last video, guys, I told you how to navigate the continuity of learning plan folder and our lessons. Some things have changed since yesterday. They gave us the ability to make it more like a course. So now you must actually, click on the things in the order I want you to do them in order to continue on through the course progression. And you can't skip ahead to the brochure project because you shouldn't. You got to be able to not master, but be familiar with the present subjunctive, this vocabulary and content, before you even start the outline for your project. So you can't even touch this folder until you've done the other activities. And like I said before, everything is in order. So you should have already watched the first video introducing. You should have read the instructions, and I've updated the lesson plan. You should have done your crossword puzzle, checked your answers, and at this point, I really only expect you to be in this folder on the present subjunctive. And again, you got to do everything in order. I want you to read the instructions first. Make sure you have your graphic organizer. Go through the PowerPoint, which I'm going to finish in today's video. Then check that your graphic organizer is completely filled out. Watch the supplement videos. Do some practice, and then attempt the quiz. I had some people doing the quiz today. That's great if you understand it, but a lot of people who did it got none of them right. I don't expect you to be able to do this in one day. Take some time to practice before you do the quiz, because you got to get at least an 80% before you're allowed to move on to the other activities. So I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint on the subjunctive, and we're going to review really quickly how to form the subjunctive. And I'm going to finish today with how to do the, when do we use the subjunctive? So here's our PowerPoint, just a really quick run through. Remember, for our regular verbs, we go to the yo, drop the o, and we add the opposite endings. So if it's an AR verb, you use the ER-IR endings. If it's an ER-IR verb, you use the AR endings. If the irregulars you get taken care of, mostly the car-gar-zar verbs. So remember that if the verb ends in car-gar-zar, like these three verbs, they have a spelling change throughout. So tokar, car verb k, gar verb gay, and zar verbs are say. Okay, all the other irregulars are taken care of in the yo form. Remember, the first step to forming the subjunctive is go to the yo. So if the verb is irregular in the yo form, you will have that irregularity taken care of, such as the verb tener. In the yo form, it's tango. Drop the O, and then you add your opposite endings. What a lot of you are forgetting to do on your quiz is that includes stem changing verbs. If it's a stem changing verb, you stem change in the yo form. Therefore, it's irregular. So, for example, pensar, go to the yo. Pienso, drop the O, add the opposite endings. And remember, we really don't stem change in the nosotros or the vosotros. If it's an if it's an IR stem changing verb, you will stem change in the nosotros and vosotros, but only E to I or O to U. So, and lastly, the dishes. These are just completely irregular. You kind of have to memorize them, but we already kind of know them because we learned them with the commands. So, when do we use the subjunctive? That's what we're going to go over today. So we use the acronym WEIRDO to help us when we use the present subjunctive. So the W is for our wishes, wants, or desires. The E is to express our emotion. I is our impersonal expressions. R, requests, recommendations. D is doubt, and O is just the word ojalá. So you should copy this to your graphic organizer under WEIRDO. And remember, you can pause this video at any time. So let's start with some phrases. So we're going to copy phrases that will give the subjunctive for wishes and desires. So we have querer que, which means to want. Esperar que, to hope. Preferir que, to prefer. Desear que, to desire. Necesitar que, to need. So notice that we know these verbs already. So why are we using the subjunctive? Well, because when we add this que, it makes it subjunctive. You have to have the que for it to be subjunctive. So querer que, esperar que, preferir que, desear que, necesitar que. To want, to hope, to prefer, to desire, to need. So por ejemplo, quiero que tú apagues el móvil durante la clase. I want that you turn off the phone during class. So it's subjunctive because quiero que is one of our expressions of want and desire. We have the que, and notice our verb is in the present subjunctive. Instead of apagas, it's apagues. The W is for wants and desires. E is for emotion. Our phrases are alegrarse de que, enojarse que, tener miedo de que, sentir que, estar triste que. Alegrarse de que means to be happy that. Enojarse que, to be mad that. Tener miedo de que, to be afraid of. Sentir que, to feel that. Estar triste que, to be sad that. So again, notice they all have to have que because we know some of these verbs already. What makes them subjunctive? We add the que. Por ejemplo, estoy triste que muchos estudiantes hagan fubing durante el almuerzo. I am sad that a lot of students do fubing during lunch. So this estoy triste que is a phrase that expresses emotion. We have our que, it's going to be subjunctive, and we form the verb hacer in the present subjunctive. E is for emotion. I are impersonal expressions, meaning they don't have a subject. We don't have to conjugate them. Es bueno que, es malo que, es necesario que, es posible que, es imposible que, es interesante que, es importante que, es bueno que, it is good that, es malo que, it is bad that, es necesario que, it is necessary that, es posible que, it is possible that, es imposible que, it is impossible that, es interesante que, it is interesting that, es importante que, it is important that. Por ejemplo, es importante que nosotros hablemos más cara a cara. It is important that we talk more face to face. So there's our phrase. Es importante que gives us subjunctive. Hablemos is in the present subjunctive. I is for impersonal expressions. R is for request and recommendations, phrases that we use to request or another way to want something. Recomendar que, pedir que, sugerir que, aconsejar que, prohibir que, decir que. Recomendar que, to recommend that. Pedir que, to ask or order that. Sugerir que, to suggest that. Aconsejar que, to advise that. Prohibir que, to prohibit that. Decir que, to say that. Por ejemplo, recomiendo que tú no uses tu móvil durante las clases. I recommend that you don't use your phone during class. Recomiendo que is our phrase of request and recommendation. Uses is in the present subjunctive. R is for request or recommendations. D is for doubt. We're going to express what we doubt. Dudar que. No pensar que. no creer que, no es obvio que, no es cierto que, no es evidente que, dudar que, to doubt that, no pensar que, to not think that, no creer que, to not believe that, no es obvio que, it is not obvious that, no es cierto que, it is not certain that, no es evidente que, it is not evident that. Por ejemplo, dudo que sea saludable dormir con el móvil. I doubt that it is healthy to sleep with your phone. So dudo que is our phrase that expresses doubt. Sea, we put the verb ser in the present subjunctive. D is for doubt. And our last, the O is ojalá. It's just an expression by itself. Ojalá is another way to say you wish. It doesn't conjugate. It always says ojalá. Ojalá que mi hija sea responsable con la tecnología. I hope that my daughter is responsible with technology. Ojalá que is an expression that gives the present subjunctive. Sea is the verb ser in the present subjunctive. So those are our uses of the subjunctive. And there's many more phrases like those that use the subjunctive, but those are the ones I think are the most important and which you should be familiar with. So vamos a practicar. Completa espacio con la forma correcta del subjuntivo y di por qué es subjuntivo. So we're going to practice conjugating and tell me why it's subjunctive. So let's do the first one together. Yo tengo miedo de que el ordenador estar roto. So let's start with conjugating a star in the present subjunctive. Remember, go to the yo. Oh, wait, this one is a dish. We don't go to the yo. It's one of the completely irregulars. Our subject is ordenador. So the answer would be, yo tengo miedo de que el ordenador esté roto. Don't forget that tilde on a star's of regular forms in the present subjunctive. So why is this subjunctive? Well, our phrase is tengo miedo de que. That means I am afraid that. I am afraid that the computer is broken. So this is a phrase that expresses emotion. So in weirdo, it would be E for emotion. So pause the computer right now so you can do the activities by yourself. And when you're ready, unpause to reveal the answers. Número 2. Los maestros prohíban que los estudiantes jugar en la computadora. Los maestros prohíban que los estudiantes jueguen en la computadora. Did you remember this is a double duty verb? Not only is it a stem changer, but it's a gar verb, so be careful. Why is it subjunctive? Prohíban que is a phrase that expresses request or recommendation. The teachers prohibit that the students play on the computer. Número 3. Espero que el ciberacoso no existir más en el futuro. Espero que el ciberacoso no exista más en el futuro. Porque es subjuntivo. Espero que, I hope that cyberbullying doesn't exist more in the future. This is a want or a desire, W, or a wish. Número 4. Dudamos que haber libros actuales en 10 años. Dudamos que haya libros actuales en 10 años. Remember, haber is one of the dishes. It's completely irregular. And remember, we only use one form of haber, and that's going to be haya. Dudamos que. We doubt that there will be actual books in 10 years. So dudar is a phrase of doubt. Número 5. Es importante que todos aprender cómo estar seguro en el Internet. Es importante que todos aprendan cómo estar seguro en el Internet. It is important that everyone learns how to be safe on the Internet. Es importante que is an impersonal expression. That would be I. So there you go. There are your uses of the present subjunctive, weirdo. So now that you finished the PowerPoint, you have to see, it says must view the item. You're going to have to check to make sure you filled out your graphic organizer correctly. So this is what it will look like when you look at it. On one side you have how to form the subjunctive and all of our irregulars. On the back are stem changing verbs, and in the middle you should have copied your phrases of weirdo. And remember, write the English if you don't know what they mean. I didn't write it because I know what they mean. If you need to write what they mean, you write what they mean. So there is our lesson from me on the present subjunctive. So when you're ready, you move on to, and you have to view the videos. These videos are another good supplement to my lesson on the present subjunctive. You're going to see more examples, more practice that you can do. And then you have a link to the website Conjuguemos, where you can practice just straight conjugating in the present subjunctive. And don't forget, our class Quizlet has flashcards on the present subjunctive. I recommend you spend a couple of days on this, 10, 15 minutes, just practice conjugating before you attempt the quiz, because you got to get at least an 80 on it, and I don't expect you to rush through this. And really, that's where I want you to be by next Wednesday. I don't expect you to move on to anything else until you really do well on this quiz. But for those who are ready, once you do finish your lesson and your quiz on the present subjunctive, you're going to do these two activities right here using the subjunctive. So again, you can't really do these until you know how to do the subjunctive. And in my next video, I will explain what you're going to do in these assignments that I want done, and not till next week anyway. Remember, we're not touching the brochure for a while. Don't touch this. Wait, you can't touch it. You gotta know the subjunctive first before we do our project. So again, guys, work slowly. You shouldn't be spending hours on this. I don't expect you to complete in one sitting. And if you are completing one sitting, slow it down. We have time, okay, guys? Again, email me during school hours, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I miss y'all. Be safe. Be healthy. Adios.